What's going on, good people? From your favorite YouTube lawyer, uh, from the nation of Levitica National Government, we welcome you to the Bad Wolf channel. It is I, the Bad Wolf, also known as the International Man of Mystery, the Man in Black, Mr. IQ, Mr. International, Mr. Worldwide, legal name James C. Good to see you guys. As always, it is a pleasure. Don't forget to hit that bell, like, and subscribe. And I'm going to take you guys for a ride. Not like the Maritime Admiralty jurisdiction, and also not a slippery ride like the baby oil bandit. Diddler. Woo! Man, I gotta jump on my other channel. So for those people who want to see me talk trash, a little jazzy, um, you definitely want to get my YouTube channel, the Bad Wolf Unlimited. All right, we're gonna talk about some stuff over there. All right, we got some people already joined up, so it's only a matter of time now before I get on there, and I'm trying to hold it back, Lord, in the good Lord's name. I'm trying to be good, but I need an outlet for it. So that is going to be Bad Wolf Unlimited. All right, on YouTube. Just like my TikTok, the bad wolf over there. Yeah, I gotta let it out, man. Gotta let it out. Some people are gonna love me more. Some people might love me a little less. It is what it is. I'm just your maestro, your herald in this. So, that being said, what is this particular video about? Well, this video is about some very unpatriotic due to their lapse in judgment, their misunderstanding of laws. Um, we're going to be looking at a particular website called Police One, which was brought to my attention on a particular article. So understand that when we say these people are unpatriotic, they're non-American, it's understanding that they are legitimately Americans. But to people like us, they are traitors to the United States of America and the Constitution because they don't understand what's really going on. And that's okay. So this is definitely not an attack, but we are going to definitely break down the information. And I'm going to step you guys through on what's true, what's not true. And we're going to point out some things. Okay. So this is just fair use. This is also a heads up for many people out there. I've been saying this for a long time now. Some people haven't heard me. We're going to break this bad boy down. So let me see if I can adjust the mic so we can make sure that we've got good volume going on. All right. So once again, this is a review on a website called police1.com. Now, before we get going, because I know where some of these people like to go when I make these videos, they like to chop up in little pieces and make me look all, special, crazy and whatever else. That's fine. Do what you got, do what you need to do. But the truth is still the truth, and the truth will set you free. All right. So, as an attorney in fact, and somebody who has been requested by judges to join their side, I think I know a little bit about what I'm talking about. And having studied constitutional, private, maritime, international contracts, laws, and how they all work, I think I have a dog in the fight. I've won numerous court cases. I've worked with numerous police officers. Some love me more than others. Imagine that. And beaten countless attorneys, cities, and other judicial parties, other than where they decided to ignore the law and either we settled or I just was like, it's not even worth fighting, because of what it was. Wasn't that important to me. All right. Prove my point, and they broke the law. They know what they did. You can win in the devil's eyes. Doesn't mean it's a win in God's eyes. So it is what it is. Got to also know when to fight your battles, when to walk away, know when to fold them. So with that being said, let's take a look at their website. Let's see what jazz they're talking over there because, well, I want now understand this. We are not against police officers. My next door neighbor, actually, who just moved recently, retired cop. my nephew's wife, retired cop. One of my good friends, I won't say what particular area, because in case he doesn't want his business out there. His name is Mike. Actually, I know two Mikes who are cops. One, well, both friend. One used to be good friend, great friend, whatever. I don't know with that one. But I know countless cops, and I know FBI agents, and I know a lot of other people in many other different branches of the military. And well, I won't go into everything for certain reasons, but yeah, it's understanding that where do you think I get some of this information from is from people on the inside. I was going to go into some of these fields, so I have connections. I have connections all over the board if you really want to know. I know people in the Illuminati. I know people in the mafia. I know people in the Boy Scouts. I know people in city council. I know wealthy. I know broke. I know greasy cats. I know a little bit of everything. And all of those people are definitely on board with me. Now, the system, on the other hand, the system is fighting for its survival. So it's going to tell its subordinates the version of truth that they need to give to police officers or federal agents or sheriffs or whoever to maintain the system. They can't very well just come out and tell you, hey, these guys are right. No, if you want to know, if you talk to your commanding officer, talk to the chief of police, talk to your legal department. I've been doing this since I was 9 years old and directly since I was 19 when I won my first court case. And I knew like a level two compared to a level 8 or 9 that I know now. So you have to be terribly smart to beat these people because they can move the football on you like Charlie Brown, or they can move the goalpost on you. So you have to really know how to corner them. But see, here's the thing: they're operating in the sandbox of the District of Columbia legally. If you're a municipality incorporated through the state of whatever is incorporated through the District of Columbia, then that is where your home base is. So even though you're physically right here, your legal tether is back to the District of Columbia, and the District of Columbia is not one of the 50 states of the Union. They're a territory, they are family, but they're not. They're in the American family, but they themselves are not operating under the Constitution as Americans. So we are not against police officers. We're not against sheriffs. We're not against any of that. We're not belligerents. But understand that there are some people out there that do operate as sovereign citizens, even though that's an oxymoron and it has no standing in law. You cannot prosecute somebody for being a sovereign citizen because there's no such thing. And in order for you to prosecute somebody underneath that, you would have to own that. So you would have to induct that you have a citizenship called a sovereign citizen. No, so what they do is they go after you as a U.S. citizen who broke their U.S. citizen laws as a member of theirs, essentially their property. You're a slave who is not operating right. So yes, I do have police officers who do come to me, have done consultations. I've helped numerous ones of them in various things that they've asked me for, and they want to know the truth. So, but if you're afraid to ask the truth, which I get as somebody who knows police officers and was going to become one, I do know that it's also a little scary thing because you don't know which other officer you can talk to about this, and generally you don't want to just bother the legal department because they're usually, if you even have one on location, which most places don't, and then you're going to talk to your commanding officer about something that they warn you about in the videos. Nah, sir. You better catch your commanding officer or chief of police off duty and go have a beer and then say, hey, yeah, we're off the clock, right? Let me ask something in private. What's up with that right to travel thing? What's up with that whole citizenship national thing? Is that a real thing? And they're gonna say, yeah, but that's not our jurisdiction. But that's okay, because in this video, we're gonna break down what these people over here said, and we're gonna look at everything with a fine-tooth comb. And if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. But I'm rarely wrong. And though that annoys a lot of people, like my girlfriend, um, and other people, It is what it is. I'm not here to hurt your feelings, but if that's what happens, it is what it is. The truth is the truth. I don't know why people want to live in such a delusion. Facts are facts, whether it's physical, financial, biological, mental, whatever. Facts are facts. And there's a lot of distorted and delusional people out there. And we have enemies on our American soil who are domestic. But understand this, I'm not saying that all police officers are enemies. I'm saying individual ones can be looked at that way or traitors to the Constitution. Certain judges, certain lawyers, certain individuals. We definitely have people who here who are against our constitutional rights while upholding, though most of them have taken an oath of office, and it should be on file down with the cleric. They know nothing about the Constitution. They've been told they're supposed to uphold it, but I have to listen to my boss. I need my paycheck. So to the officers out there who have come to me and asked me and whatever else, I appreciate you guys. You guys are true patriots and Americans. Thank you for doing your job. To the other ones, I know you guys watch these videos, just like all the other departments, state, Cornell Law, DOD, FBI. I know you guys all watch. Oh, and listen. So cute. Let's get into the video, guys, and you guys will see exactly what I am talking about. All right. So once again, we are not against any body who is operating correctly as an American. We're not even rallying people to, change or shake the system. We're not doing that at all. I'm just saying if you want your rights and freedoms, you're going to need to talk to the people in Congress and your senators and whoever else, your aldermen, put them on game and hold them to their oath of office because this ain't going anywhere unless we, the people, let it go. This is the highest law in the United States of America. Not your corporation, not your boss, not your municipality, not the chief of police. This. But what they did is from this, giving people the ability to do business, they created a bubble. So they are God in that bubble. And that is called the maritime, the public, admiralty, municipal, corporation, legal hemisphere. Okay. But that still gets its power from to be there from this. And the people control this. But if we go and play in their little sandbox, the District of Columbia, which has its tethers, Hail Hydra, everywhere out there, then you are waiving your rights to be regarded as this, and you're then operating as a member of theirs. This is like Boy Scouts or whatever it's called now. They can do almost anything that they want to do to you in here as long as it's legal and they don't deprive you of your lawful rights, which is over here. But they don't teach this in the academy and whatever else. I know, I've been there. They it's always an experience, we'll just say. All right, so with that being said, guys, and without further ado, let's get into the review of police1.com and their sovereign citizens, American, state, national, the next group of sovereign citizens. Wow, that's pretty thorough there. But let's take a look at it, and I will break it down to you. And if they're right on something, then they're right. But if they're wrong, we're gonna point that out too. All right, so this was sent to me by some people, and so we're gonna really give this a hard breakdown. So obviously here, you can sign up for their news, and there's some advocate for. Now, obviously, let's. I want to show you guys how I look at these things. Let's really break this down um, from the bad wolf's perspective. I want to take you guys on a trip so you guys can see how my mind looks at things. All right. So starting off here at the top, police one.com. Okay, so first of all, they're using the name police. It's just a name. And this means policy. So they're policy enforcers. And then it's .com. So this is commercial. They're not a government or federal agency. .com is dot commercial. So this is not something that's official or law or whatever else. This is just somebody doing commercial business, a taxpayer in the public speaking their mind, and they have the right to do so. So far, I'll give you that. Next, we look at the word sovereign and citizen together here. So let's pull up Chat GPT. Okay. I can find where it is. Okay, so let's clean it. Let's get a new chat going here. All right. Okay. So, well, let me make sure I'm sharing the right screen. Okay, looks right. Okay, so the term sovereign, look, I don't even know how to spell it. Sovereign citizen is an oxymoron, okay, which means it's conflicting and has no standing in law. Correct? Wait, correct or false? Okay, so I'm gonna have it read so you can hear it. Okay, give me a second. Or give it a second.
Correct. The term sovereign citizen is indeed an oxymoron and has no legitimate standing in law.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that? So already we just debunked the term sovereign citizen. And see, because that's a dangerous word, these U.S. citizens who are misguided are operating treasonous to the Constitution. They're labeling a dangerous term to certain individuals and groups. It's a slang term. But, Wolf, are there people out there who operate like these so called sovereign citizens? Yes, there actually are people out there who are misguided U.S. citizens who are against the municipality and don't know how to do business. They don't know how to do commerce, and they straight out want to be against the government. That's not what we are, but there are people out there. Yes. So there's your truth and your fiction all in one. So once again, let's go back and finish up what Chat has to say about that term.
Law. Here's why. 1. Contradiction in terms, oxymoron. Sovereign implies supreme authority over oneself, not subject to another's rule.
So we, the people, are in fact sovereign because that's what it says in the Constitution.
Rule.
Okay, keep going. Okay, someone's got stage fright. All right, whatever. We'll do it the old school way. So citizen implies a subject of the state. Notice here it's a lowercase s. Okay, so that means an entity. You're talking about an entity. So you are a subject of an entity. So you can't be a sovereign and a citizen. You can be one or the other. But in the Constitution, it says the citizens are sovereign, which is where sovereign citizens come from because somebody put it together and said, well, I'm a sovereign citizen. You can't be both in one event. You're either a sovereign, we the people in the Constitution, or you're a citizen of the state. You have the ability to be either or, you have both, but in any one event or moment, you can only be one or the other. Right here, look, I didn't even read it. It says you cannot be both at once. You either submit to the government's jurisdiction as a citizen or do not. Sovereign. Hence, sovereign citizen is logically self-contradictory. Do I can I make this any more clear to the legal department, municipality, judges, lawyers, Department of State, anybody else? Anybody? Anybody. No legal standing or recognition. U.S. courts do not recognize the term sovereign citizens as lawful or legally valid. So, lawfully means under the Constitution, legally means on the state level, corporate, policy enforcers. There's no such thing. In fact, courts and law enforcement often associate the label with anti government or fringe groups, and it can lead to increased scrutiny or dismissal of your filings if you use the term. The term is often used by media, which is controlled by seven families. Most media, 90% of media, is controlled by seven families who are against your freedoms. Or government agencies, not all, but some do have it. I've seen the FBI reports to stereotype those challenging jurisdiction or asserting their rights outside conventional legal frameworks. This is against. So, to the FBI, I know you guys watch these videos too. And thank you guys. You guys have actually done some work for me, whether you knew it or not. Well, some of it you did, but anyway. Challenging the jurisdiction is a constitutional right that you guys are supposed to uphold. But yes, there are some people out there who do this poorly or purposely wrong, and we are also against that. Better framing. If you're asserting your unalienable rights or seeking to be recognized as a non-citizen national, private individual, also known as a private citizen, by cops, cops refer to people who are under the Constitution as private citizens or non-residents, foreign nationals, or somebody operating outside the federal corporate jurisdiction, corporation. You should use more precise and lawful terminology, such as American State National. Now, I'm going to show you here why this is wrong. Okay. There's no such thing as an American State National. Okay. So that's wrong. So ChatGPT doesn't get it right all the time either. This is wrong. There's no such thing as this. Anna von Reitz uses this, but that is her own group. As far as I know, she controls this term, American State National, the ASN. This, by the FBI, are considered domestic terrorists because of what they've done. I would not use this term. It has no standing. You will not find this anywhere in code. Non-citizen national is a correct term, but 8 U.S.C. 1101 A21 is not the correct. Now, understand, this places you as a national of the District of Columbia. So this is wrong as well. I'll show you that in 1 second. Private individual, sui juris, yes. One's own jurisdiction. This is Latin. This is correct. Beneficiary of a private trust, also correct. Man or woman, correct. But I wouldn't be sitting here telling a cop, hey, I'm a man, I'm a woman. No, it's dumb. You don't use that. So now let's take a look at the 8 U.S.C. 1101 A21. Okay. Stop sharing. All right. So now let's pull up the website. Uh, Cornell Law, EDU, 8 U.S.C. 1101. All right, let me get you guys on the screen here. So as you guys can see, I haven't even gotten to the article yet. I'm just showing you where they're wrong already. And ChatGPT is wrong. Okay, but it's giving you a generalization. All right, so you have to be careful. So let's go to Cornell Law, EDU. Okay, so you guys can see I'm on the legitimate page. And I know the code by heart, so let's drop down to it said 21. It said A21. Okay. So we're in A section, and this is 21 right here. This was the first code I ever used, and I thought I was right. So I mistakenly told people the wrong code because I didn't do deeper research. I know Cornell Law EDU watches my videos because they had misapplied a capital S here to state, and they've corrected it. So thank you to the people over at Cornell Law for correcting this problem. If you look at this word just printed on a page, or word sentence printed on a page, you would think that this is correct. But the reason why this is not correct for us as Americans is because of the word state. This is what throws the whole thing off. Let's look at the hyperlink underline in blue. Click on it and let's see what it has to say. It says here the term state includes in the word in, so you're in something, okay? Includes, not colludes, includes, so you're in the District of Columbia. You don't see anything else in here that says America. Nothing in here looks American, like pure American, nothing. So A21 is not the right code. It is A22. And then either A or B. I prefer B. 8 U.S.C. 1101A 22B is my preferred code. The term citizen of the United States means everybody together in the family. Everybody, even the DC people, can be considered nationals, which is what 21 is talking about specifically. Specifically for those of us who want to be state citizens, foreign nationals, private citizens of your own right, it is this one right here. Okay, so let's back all the way up, see what section we're in. 8 U.S.C. 1101 definitions under A. 22B. All right, are you with me? We should be pretty good. All right, now let me find back to their page. All right, so let's keep going with the breakdown. I want you guys to see through the haze and fog the way I do. Welcome to my world. So we've proven now, okay, one, police is just a word, and that this site especially is commerce, you're doing commercial. So if you go to your police station's website and it says .com, they're just commercial entities for profit. If it says .gov, .fed, .mil, military, then that's something different. Okay, but this site right here is a commercial site. Anybody can put one of these up. So don't be fooled. Think, oh, this is some absolute god level Harukin facts going on here. We've proven that the word sovereign citizen is an oxymoron, doesn't exist, has no standing in law or legal or lawful. So let's keep going. So American state national, the newest group of sovereign citizens. So let's take American state national. Okay. Let's see if my here, let's just okay. Let's go to chat. See if I can pull up a new page. Maybe it'll work better. All right. Okay. So does the term American state national as a whole actually have standing in law? And if so, what is the might have screwed up that word, corroborating um federal US code proving this as fact? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. So let's see what it has to say. Ah, caught you lying. Looky, looky, I got hooky. Looky, looky, I got hooky. Read it, baby. Let's read to the people how you just lied on
The
yourself,
term American state national does not explicitly appear in federal statutes, U.S. Code.
which means it has no standing in law by that term. The devil's in the details. Be careful of the words you use.
Code as a defined legal status.
Ha!
However, the concept behind it
Oh, a concept. That's an idea. So somebody has an idea behind a word that, but it doesn't have any standing in law, which means it doesn't mean shit.
can be partially grounded in the distinct.
Partially grounded. If you're partially grounded, ask any electrician. It means you're not grounded. A poor tap 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 ground is not a good ground. It's not. So it has
Distinction between state citizenship and federal U.S. citizenship, which has roots in constitutional and legal history. White heavy check mark 1. Stand.
okay. So as it goes down through here, it says state nationals primarily by certain reform and sovereignty movements, sovereign citizens, to assert a political and legal status. So what Anna von Reitz is doing is not illegal. How her people as American state nationals move has been controversial. As far as I know, she controls that term. Either she has a copyright on it or she formed a business called American State National. So it's a legal term, but it's asserted with certain sovereignty movements. This term has no official legal definition in federal law, which means it's not American as far as having rights and a specific standing. It has a status, it's a dead thing, but it has no standing. If it's not, if you can't find it in federal law, it doesn't. It's not. It's not a higher form of law or entity. So here they're talking about court cases, but none of these canned out about the ASN. Now let's take a look here. Relevant code. So they're saying this is relevant, but it doesn't prove anything. 22 or 21, like we talked about before. State properly not capitalized, but they don't have the hyperlink, which we already proved. This is the District of Columbia. 22 is the correct one, but it's 22B personally. 8 U.S.C. 1452. That's but see, they're only once again talking about a one type of national because here they don't have 8 U.S.C. 1401. And this is talking about a national because we're all kind of lumped together, but there are different types of nationals. So once again, here, look, non-citizen national, yes, legal status. Found in the code, yes. 8 U.S.C. 1101A 22, rare designation. This is who we are. They call it rare because we don't use it. But American State National, no legal status, not found in the code, but you have the right. So she has the right. People have the right under common law. It's a political concept, but it's not codified or codified. Codified means it's not found in the code. No offense. I love my people out there. Some of you guys are great who operate under ASN or your assemblies, but this is the truth. And this might not make a lot of people happy, but you don't have to be underneath somebody's nation or their corporation. You can create your own. All right. If you're happy under them and you're learning, great. I'm just giving you guys the truth. Don't be mad at the messenger. All right. So now let's go back to the commercial police website and see what they have to say. So, as I said some time ago, through certain federal contacts, ASN is considered the newest group of sovereign citizens. So, this is what these people here, a commercial company in commerce, are preaching to Americans to be wary of people trying to do anything like get away or just operate outside of the legal system to then operate lawfully and privately. They want to keep all of you in the basket. These are fear tactics. We've already just in here, we've already proven what the site is. There's no such thing as sovereign citizen. There's no such thing as American state national. But they have to label those people something as they're using it as a fear propaganda. But there are some citizens, highlighted word, who are against the establishment and want to tear it down, want to do damage. We here at Levitica, Nation of Levitica, Badwolf, James C., we are not those people. We are against anybody, these so-called sovereign citizens, bad police, bad judges, bad FBI, bad anybody, bad sheriffs, anybody trying to attack our country. God bless America. We are willing to defend against terrorists, terrorisms, foreign or domestic. They are the problems. But let's keep going. Oh, and by the way, YouTube, because I know you guys watch, I know you have your algorithms, placing this or allowing people to advertise under my videos using this is a federal offense. It is a legal determination, and you are not a legal department nor legal agency. You're not licensed in law, and you are contributing to misleading legal propaganda, and it is a suable offense. I am just giving you a heads up because I know you guys know who I am. Don't forget what we went through uh, almost 10 years ago now. Okay? Okay. Friendly heads up. Now, here, if you play the video, which I won't, it's their materials or whatever else. They're going to talk about American style, blah blah blah, and they're going to talk about traffic pulling over, and then they're going to show some Yahoo doing things the improper way, which is why you need to watch my full videos on right to travel, create your things properly. Otherwise, you're going to be looked at as one of these people. Now, before we go any farther, okay, so this article was put together by a Dr. Christine M. Sarcheschi, LCSW. So I'm not familiar with this term, so let's see here. Okay. So LCSW means she's a licensed clinical social worker. LCSW behind her name, doctor. So she's a doctor, not a licensed attorney, lawyer, or anything trained in that. She's a licensed clinical social worker, baptism and health, therapy. Do you guys now see the problems of the fraud and the deception? This article was written on a commercial for-profit website standing up for a police and police law enforcement entity that is for profit, operating in the public, in their own jurisdiction, intertwining with different jurisdictions through the state of, which is a fairly recognized agency, but its own corporation also operating for profit in the public. And the state itself is then a for profit, public, recognized under the federal agency, part of the American family, registered through the District of Columbia, which it itself is a corporation under UCC 9-307, not actually American, but in the American family. So it's legally part of our family. Like if my last name is Lovett and I hang out with Johnsons and they make me an honorary Johnson, honorary Johnson, and they're not operating directly, they're not operating constitutionally, to say it better, but they're operating under the permission and power of the Constitution, but in their own bubble, doing their own thing. And you mean to tell me through all of that, no offense, Christine, or whatever your name is, Dr. Christine is a doctor, not even in the legal field, writing an article and persuading people, like she at least could have used the term attorney in fact, and I would have gave it to her. Do you see how these people operate? Do you see the deception? This is what I deal with on a daily basis. So Dr. Christine M.S. is not even a legal expert, not even from the legal department. No license, no nothing, not even a bar member. So let's continue to see what she has to say. That she feels that she should talk
Sovereign
about.
citizens are individuals who, despite being legal citizens of their respective countries, deny the legitimacy of their governments and thus consider themselves immune to their laws. 1. The movement is loosely affiliated and not typically unified, though followers share similar beliefs and ideologies. They use terms to describe themselves such as living man or woman, natural woman or man, free man or woman, secured party creditor, state national, and the newest variation, American state national.
Okay, so they're mixing, which could be considered what the sovereign type, citizen type, or just uh, anti-American citizens, we'll call them. They want to make up terms, we'll make up terms too. A free man or free woman, natural living is opposed to a legal name and a legal person. A secured party creditor is how their jurisdiction identifies somebody who's not a debtor, which is what your legal name is. State national, no such thing. You're either a state citizen to your respective state or you're a national of the United States. And the newest variation, American State National, ASN, we already talked about that. Okay. So, but let's be fair. Let's go through the whole thing that she has written here from this non-expert. Okay. Has doesn't talk about herself, doesn't say, "Hey, I've been a part of this for 20 years. I've done 10 years of research." Nope, nope. Just I have a statement, which anybody is in fact able to say. So I don't think she's a bad person. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying she's not backing any of this. And this site is supporting this person who doesn't even like, at least if she would have put like dash attorney in fact, I said, okay, well, she has been studying some law, which you have the right to do on your own in the private. Okay. Then I would have gave her a little extra credence, but she's clearly not smart enough, at least in this perspective field, probably should stay in, this field right here, to be talking about this because she doesn't have any legal overstanding of this. None. At least she's not talking about it. She doesn't mention it. She doesn't even have a hyperlink where I can go and check her out more. And who even knows if this is a real person? She doesn't even probably understand why or these letters are in capitalization here. She doesn't even know. She doesn't even know where the term doctor, none of this comes from. I guarantee you that. But let's keep going. I've already made videos proving all of this, the right, the wrong of all of it. So let's start here. Let's go back to funny now. Imagine that. Imagine that. Okay, let me try to close the page. Like all these little minor technical difficulties come in when you're busting these people's chops. It's not like I got 20 things open or whatever else, but okay. It's cute. It's not my first rodeo. All right, let's pop back onto the new page. And let's see. Hey, I'm trying to be very fair here. I'm just calling out what these things mean on the legal level. Okay.
Sovereign citizens are anti-government, anti-democratic, and anti-institution, and can be best described as modern-day outlaws.
Okay, so for the people who are anti-American and anti-establishment, yes, this part is correct.
Outlaws. They pose a threat to the U.S. government and other governments worldwide.
I'll tell you this, the US government, though the FBI does investigate these types of people, okay, they're not losing sleep over this. If anybody, it's more the states and the local municipalities. They're worried about that. The government ain't worried about it. Government knows what's really going on, but yes, they do know that there are some threats, foreign and domestic, but they're not losing sleep over it.
Worldwide. As legal citizens of a country who reject the jurisdiction of their government and its justice systems, they exhibit anarchist tendencies.
So if you read the Constitution, which is one of the most beautiful things about our nation versus a lot of other nations, is it actually says in there that if the government, the state, the municipality, the law enforcement, or whatever else are no longer serving the people have a right to change that system. But there's a fine line between these anti-American, but hell, if they're going to call those people sovereign citizens, then what name should we call them? Slave masters, um, colonists, get in a column, anti-freedom, anti-nationals. There you go. How about that? Or anti-constitutionalists. You won't let me operate in the Constitution, which gives you your power, which I control. So I'm your boss from the private side. Well, then you're an anti-constitutionalist. You're anti-freedom. You're anti-national. But there are some people out there who are the problem.
Tendencies. Accurate statistics on the sovereign citizen movement are challenging to obtain. Estimates suggest there are between 100,000 to 300,000 sovereign citizens in the United States.
So it's just a guess.
States. 2. In recent years, federal officials have noted a resurgence in the movement. The Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, has identified the sovereign citizen movement as one of its top threats.
Now, there are people out there who do anti-American things and hurt even Americans, and that is wrong. In my estimation, there are definitely not this many of these types of people, far less. But if they want to put it in the top, yeah, they can. That's what they're there to do, to identify any actual threats. Actual threats. A an American or a national or a state citizen is not a threat unless the FBI itself is becoming a problem by being against the Constitution. Then they would be the problem. But there are people who do destructive things and hurt people and are stocking up and are against the establishment altogether. They want to live in anarchy, and that is not the American way. So let's keep going.
Threats. 3. What are American state nationals? American state nationals, ASNs, are a growing group in the United States and Canada.
Now, understand, I don't know much about Canada, but they don't have a constitution that separates them from the legal entity, as far as I know. This is why up there, their country, their government can call them um, sovereign citizens because they're literally owned. Every other place in the world, they don't generally have a constitution like we do. Thank you to the founding fathers. Now, if I was in Canada, I would look at things like religious freedom or being regarded as a native, but they have a different type of fight because if they want freedoms like we have, they're going to have to deal with the government. And at some point in time, they're going to have to either put their own people in place to take over and change the government, the legal, proper way, or it'll eventually go another direction, which would not be, it would be revolutionary, we'll just say. So let's keep going.
Canada. The group's leaders conduct monthly seminars across the United States to instruct followers on becoming ASNs. Recently, they have expanded their teaching to include freedom coaches in all 50 states who now host their own ASN seminars.
Okay, so you guys can see what they're talking about here.
ASNs assert they are not sovereign citizens. They sell merchandise that says that they are not sovereign citizens and often argue the term is an oxymoron used to defame or unfairly categorize them.
Which, for some people, we already proven that it is an oxymoron. So this is a lie. The term, no matter what, is an oxymoron. Has no standing in law or lawful or legal capacity. Doesn't.
Them. They reject the label because it has been associated with domestic terrorism.
Created by the municipalities, the people in charge, who want to keep the people in line.
Terrorism, believing they do not fit this characterization. However, regardless of their self-identification, their tactics, behavior, ideology, and language align with those of the sovereign citizen movement.
They may be similar because they want freedoms. That's true. But how I go about it is the legal and lawful way. How the wrong people go about it is the criminal, illegal way. Both want freedom, two different ways to go about it. I talk it out and use their code to show we have the right to do these things under the Constitution. They just say, I want it, and if not, I'm going to go do bad things. Just like me and, some uh, playboy, trash dude, we're both going after the girl. I'm bringing flowers and poems and care, stability. He's bringing, I got muscles. I already smashed your friend, and I'm going to break your heart. Well, unfortunately, most girls today definitely are going to go for the other guy and not me. Oh man. Okay. Let's get back to it. Let's get back to it. But there are a number out there who would definitely come my way. But as you see, we're both trying to get to the same spot, but there's different ways of going about it.
Movement. As the saying goes, as a thing acts, so it is. In
Yeah.
addition,
And so to those people in the FBI, to the people in the sheriff's department, officers, police officers, constables, whatever else, as a thing acts, so it is. So there are some who are anti-American, and there are some people, like the one police officer said in their seminar, some citizens are private or private citizens and just want to be left alone. They're not in this political or commercial game. There you have it. Heard it right from the police officer themselves. So not all of them support, but yes, this is a real thing. Though they're not using the correct term, it's a slang term. But yes, there are bad people out there. I will agree with that.
addition to in-person seminars, $150 to $200 per person, ASNs also purchase materials through websites and via social media. One popular product for sale is the Freedom Bundle, priced between $175 to $500. 4. This bundle contains a set of documents purported to help individuals move into the private and gain standing.
Okay. Now, operating privately or being in the private is a real thing. There are scammers out there, okay, because this a lot of people want to be private. Guess who also is private? Did you know that the public that the police officers work for is actually a private entity, but it's so large it's called the public? How do we know that? Because you can't come from another country and just be a part of the public and get the public benefits. They have to bring you in. That means you are private. You can't just work for the state of whatever. You have to be brought in. So that means they're private too. You can't just come to the United States and be like, yeah, I'm an American now because it's also private. So there's no, and guess who's really private? Wealthy people, which is where I learned how to operate in the private and under the Constitution. Guess what? Even in the public, there's also a part of it. In the public, you can either be public, or private and in the public. But they don't want you to know that. They want to hide all of this. Oh, come on now. See how see.
American state nationals,
There
the
we go.
newest group of sovereign citizens.
Stop. Close.
Between $175 to $500. 4. This bundle contains a set of documents purported to help individuals move into the private and gain standing. Individuals complete these forms and send specific documents to courts and certain government agencies.
Which is your right as an American to put the government on notice. Sure, some of them don't like it, and I'm sure half of them for sure get thrown away or more. But you are doing a public notice. So notice they didn't say anything in here about that being this part of it being illegal.
Agencies. Pima County, Arizona, has become a preferred location for ASNs to file their documentation, attracting submissions from individuals who do not reside in the state.
All right, I've never heard this, but okay, I guess that's a thing.
State. For ASNs, recording their documents signifies the repudiation of their U.S. citizenship, thereby ending any contract with the U.S. government.
Okay, so let's take this apart first. Sending your documents to most places does not signify repudiation or the getting rid of or denouncing of your citizenship. This must be done through a state level court or a federal court. You can update the Department of State, but and that is a way, but generally they want you to do it through the courts. You can do a repudiation for yourself, but once again, I've told you guys since day one, getting rid of your U.S. citizenship is a trap. It is a tool. You will become stateless. You merely do not operate as a citizen if you choose not to, and operate from the private side as a national if you choose to. Use either one of them in the circumstance or event that you need. You do not want to get rid of your citizenship. But if you do it the proper way, which I do not recommend, then yes, it does get rid of your agreements with the state and the government. But then you're stateless and you are not protected. You have no rights other than what you do for yourself, which means anybody, the state or the government or anybody else, can war with you, and it's just you and whatever money you got in your pocket, which is technically, not your money anyway. And you're not going to be able to have a lot of benefits and privileges. Banks and credit cards, those are all contracts from them. If you want to speak legally. So yeah, no, don't do this. That's a trap. You can tell them who you are and that you know that you are a national under GPO Style Manual Section 5.23 or Cornell Law Federal Code 8 U.S.C. 1401 or Cornell Law Federal Code 8 U.S.C. 1101A 22B, which we've proven they can't deny you that, but they don't care. Basically, sending your affidavits out is a dying or dead thing. All they want you to do is to know who you are and operate and F with them if you do, or don't F with them. That's it. They don't care about your personal business. So I'm saying it here and now. Keep your affidavits for when you need to go to court or deal with a court case. Other than that, don't bother any of these agencies. They don't want your documents. Yes, I know we did them. Yes, I know I have videos talking about it. I've never said get rid of your citizenship. Just don't use it if you don't want to. You don't need it. If you don't need it in that moment. So let's go.
Government. They believe this action exempts them from the jurisdiction of all U.S. laws and codes, rendering them immune to government interference in their lives.
So let's break that down. If you completely renounce properly, yes, this does pull you out of all these things. But even if you operate private, you are still subject to U.S. laws, federal laws, constitutional law. Your straw man, your name in all caps on the state level, is still subject to the state's laws and codes. But if you're not using that name and you move your stuff out of that name, then there's nothing for them to attack. The government does not look at your all caps name as being a straw man. It is you. It says it right in the government's publishing form, the GPO style manual. Only the states operating under the U.C.C. create legal persons. This is where the confusion comes in at. So stop sending them affidavits.
Lives. Despite the lack of merit or legitimacy in these ideas, this ideology is currently being taught and embraced by ASNs.
Notice here she doesn't say anything about she doesn't say none of this has any legal or lawful merit. This is an opinion. Let's keep going.
ASNs. Passports, coming to a traffic stop near you.
Now, here's what's awesome and funny at the same time, because this tells me here, because I invented this. I invented the passports being done properly. Well, let me say this correctly. The passport in combination with the traffic stop while operating under right to travel. So this tells me that they watch my videos, which I already know. I've literally already been told by certain agents in the federal level. So I already know. So I hope they're watching this video too. And I know they are, as well they should, so they can be educated.
U. Leaders of the ASN teach that acquiring a United States passport is one of the steps to becoming an ASN.
False. The passport does not make you anything other than either a U.S. citizen or non-citizen national. That is it. And you already have both. In order for you to get either one, you have to already have them. That's it. That's how it works. You have to either be one or the other, or you have both. We as Americans have both. So this is false. But as I'm not a part of certain ASN groups, they may teach this. So this could be, in fact, true. But how do we know that even if that's what they're teaching, this is false? Because the passport application itself says, I, under penalty of perjury, am either declare that I'm either a U.S. citizen or a non-citizen national. It doesn't say American state national. And we've already proven that this ASN has no standing in law. So that's why I teach you guys to either be a U.S. citizen or operate as a non-citizen national. Okay. So, but this is on the passport. So we know this is real. But Wolf, is there really such thing as a non-national citizen? A non-national citizen. That's not even the correct term. Let me slow down and read. Non-national citizen. This would mean that you're not a national and you're a citizen. So she messed this up. She didn't even get this part right. It's a non-citizen national. So she messed this part up. See how you have to be careful? There's no such thing as a non-national citizen, but you could construe that if you're not a non-national, that means you're just a U.S. citizen. But seeing how I know where she's trying to go with this corruption here, let's take a look at what she's trying to say. And let's see if we can prove two things here. So we can prove her wrong, Miss Degree in Therapy, on the Police One commercial for-profit website. Okay. So once again, we're going to go to my favorite law school, or one of them, Cornell Law. So under 8 U.S.C. 1401, nationals and citizens of the United States at birth. So we have both. Do you hear me? Federal Department, law enforcement, do you hear me? Do you see me? Support your own codes and your own people. But yes, I do know that there are people out there operating in a non-proper fashion, and they should be watched and whatever else. So, who is a national and a citizen at birth? Because it says nationals and citizens at birth. So you're getting both. A person born in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof. Let's look up the terminology definition of United States. The term United States, except as otherwise specifically herein, which means anywhere else, the term United States, which has three definitions, may be used differently. They're telling you here, be careful. The United States term can be used differently, meaning it can't be used as a corporation or the body politic. But it says here, when used in a geographical sense or continental, which means the real world, real land, not on paper, Alaska, and they shortened the full list of the 50 states here. How do we know that? Because it says the geographical, the continental, which means connecting states, the physical states, which means all of them. So this is a little ploy here, trying to throw you off. But Alaska, Arkansas, Alabama, Wisconsin, Florida, blah 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 blah, and blah blah blah. Notice in here you don't see the District of Columbia, do you? Do you? Huh? Do you? Take that, take that, take that. Yeah. Mm, mm, Do you see the District of Columbia in here? No, because they are not a part of the geographical and continental United States of America. So here they're telling you that there are different A through H, different types of U.S. citizens and nationals. There are many types, but all of them can claim any of this if you're born here. Okay, that's not the one I was looking for. So let me go back to Google, try to see if I could shortcut. That didn't work. So let's go Cornell Law, EDU, location of the debtor, 9-307. It was 9, then dash 9 through. Okay. So, location of the debtor. Let's go down to H. Is it right here? Location of the United States. The United States is located in the District of Columbia. How is that possible? How can the entire United States be located in the District of Columbia? Because the term United States here, which is a debtor, is a legal person, which really means that this should all be capitalized, Cornell Law, or here should be all capitalized, United States. If we're going to go with proper grammar, but whatever. Because the United States, when used here, to be located in the District of Columbia is a legal entity. It's a corporation. So this is the corporation, and the other one is the organic. There are two, well, three, the body politic, but we'll leave that alone for now. Okay. Oh, my bad. You're right. You're right. You're right. I got, see, this is what happens in my brain, man. I have to prove every thing. Okay. Now, so we said we were going to prove the national thing. So we proved it on Cornell Law. Now let's prove it on the Department of State. So here you go, FBI. Apparently, you guys don't communicate. So let's show you, the FBI, what the Department of State says about the national. That's under 505. What is it? Foreign Affairs Manual, section 505.2. 8, yeah, 8 FAM 505.2. Passport endorsements. Let's drop down here. Passport endorsements. The bearer is a United States national and not a United States citizen. This is what she was trying to say, but she messed up either accidentally or on purpose or acts it purposefully. I'm not sure. But it says placed in a passport book issued to a non citizen U.S. national. Okay, B. U.S. national will be printed instead of United States of America to the Department of State. You guys have not been doing this, and you do not inform us on how to do this properly. That is a faux pas. But we now understand that the term U.S. national means the same thing as non citizen U.S. national. So look at this. So If you're not a citizen, non-citizen, this cancels, like in math, which then leaves the term U.S. national. How do we know that? Because here it says right here. So these two terms are synonymous. What else could this mean? Oh, prior to the creation of the endorsement in 1992, the bearer status as a non-citizen U.S. national is indicated by circling the word national. So the word national is also synonymous, and we're all in the same family of nationals by crossing out the word citizen in the secretary's message. So we now know that national, U.S. national, non-citizen U.S. national are all the same thing. And we also know that we're born with both of them. So we have the ability to depict which one by law under 8 U.S.C. 1101A, 22A and B, or 8 U.S.C. 1401A, which one we want to be. Remember, you don't want to strike. You just kind of want to like swaft in an upward motion. Just a little zaggedy. Okay. This segment is not for the children. All right. Not children friendly. I better click that when I post the video. All right, let's get back to it. Let's get back to it. All right, there we go. Yeah. It's, okay. So now we can see that even within this article, she doesn't even have this correct, unless she's copying it from these ASNs. But yeah, there's no such thing as a non-national citizen. No standing in law. But this, if I were to break this down, then yes, this would just mean a U.S. citizen. So are you saying they instruct followers to apply to be just U.S. citizens? Well, then that would be just a regular passport. The passport literally on the bottom. You know what? Let's just show it here. Let's not. I don't want any half stepping. Okay. So let's go here to passport, online PDF, DS11. Okay, let's see if I can blow this up. I want it big and bigify it. Make it bad wolf sized. It's awesome. All right. So even here, I read from memory. I declare under penalty of perjury. Matter of fact, where's my marker? My marker. I declare under penalty of perjury all of the following. I am a citizen or non-citizen national of the United States. Once again, this right here is what I choose, but do not underline, do not circle, because that is tampering with the oath. That is a federal offense. Do not do it here. You do it in your book. You have the right to do it in your book, not here. Do not do this. Okay, this is just for example only. I assume no responsibility from your favorite non-combatant, non-belligerent, patriot, nation, lord, leader of Levitica has spoken. The trash heap has spoken. Yeah. All right. So we know this is 8 U.S.C. 1401 A. For most of us, it's A. Some of you guys, it might be another letter, but same code. Okay. So we have the right to choose this one. This does not apply just to Guam or Paraguay, or they would say it. It doesn't. But Guam and Paraguay, they are also nationals, but they're a different type of national. They also fall underneath this. This is for all the types of nationals that can be here. This is for all the type of U.S. citizens. And if you're born here, you get both. But for the passport, they want you to choose but you can't do it by circling or underlining like you used to in the old days. Now doing this is tampering with the oath, federal offense. You have to do it all, like I learned from the postal guy. It's all in how you fill out the whole thing. And we now know that we put 09 here because this is the endorsement code on the page we were just with. Do not put anything here. Do not mark anything here. Do not mark anything here. And for those authorization agents, acceptance agents, there's no separate box that says we cannot mark in here. There isn't. This is part of the general application. You guys are just doing this for us because we didn't understand this. You know how I know that? Because it says here, do not sign application. Let's go down farther. Do not write below this line for issuing office only. It doesn't say anything like that up here. So stop the lies. Denying somebody of their rights is under 8 U.S.C. 1503, denial of rights and privileges as a national, as a federal offense. Now let's get back to the regularly scheduled program.
SN. They instruct followers to apply for non-national citizen passports, which
No
they
such
believe
thing.
officially recognize their status as ASNs by the U.S. Department of State. 4. They also believe that the passport holder has been placed on a special do not detain, do not interrogate list, and as a special bonus, the passport holder now has a concealed weapon permit valid in all 50 states, 4, that cannot be revoked. However, there is no evidence to support these claims.
Okay, first of all, let's talk about the do not detain. Okay? So they say there's no such thing as a do not detain, right? Um, YouTube. Do not detain. Okay, so I know this person here. This is actually Quan X, former student. He's proven through his videos that it is a real thing, even though I'm sure this guy's going to say it's a fail because the second time he did get arrested, but it worked all the other times. So this is not a get out of jail card free by any means. Some cops, if depending on how he has done all this stuff, I do not know. They can still arrest you. All right. So it's not a get out of jail card free thing. This is me, obviously. Funny because this person got more views than me telling him how to do it the right way. Okay. So right here, this person, oh, that's Daquan. Okay. So somehow, I don't think you're supposed to, but it's already out there. So we're going to say fair use. I'm not doing anything illegal. This is what he got. Okay. Here's proof of it.
Dad, come on, let's go.
I'm working on it.
Okay, hold on.
From watching her first hockey game to playing
Mute.
one.
Gotta mute.
At Credit One Bank, we believe having
Skip that.
Now, I think he might know something about it.
Okay, so here I believe they're just talking about it. Let's see, is that the right one? Okay, so they're talking about it, but it's his
Now,
audio
I
and
think
stuff,
he
so I
might
don't
know
want
something
to
about it. But this
get
is what
into
this
any problems with that. But you can see in the image here, this is what they see. Okay, let me try this one over here. Ah, this video has been removed by the uploader. Okay, so yeah, once again, they do not want you to know because from what I was told by an officer, they are not supposed to show this screen. And that's probably why when I clicked on his, you can't see this. you are not supposed to see this. So I'm sorry I can't blow this up or make it bigger. If you guys can still find it, you can. But for legal reasons, it is small and blurry enough where you can't see it specifically. But that is why that is like that. Okay. So we know it's a real thing. America's most influential sovereign citizen, David Straight on Vice. Yeah, because they were arrested for doing non-good things. That does not mean just because you have a passport, I mean, just because you have a passport and you do it the proper way as a national, there is a do not detain list. They're never going to show it to you. You're never going to find it on the passport. It's a need to know thing. And it doesn't mean that you're not arrestable. Listen to the words do not detain. That doesn't say do not arrest. The do not detain comes in to mean that if you are doing normal things, you're traveling properly as a foreign national in the same area that they share where they administer public jurisdiction while you are operating privately but in a public area, as long as you are doing nothing wrong and you hand them your ID as a passport, which is who you are in that moment, they are not supposed to detain you. Does not say cannot arrest. You can still be arrested if you're doing something illegal, unlawful, but they have to have RAS, which is reasonable articulate suspicion of a crime. If he thinks you're doing something criminal and you're in the act thereof, or he has you match a description of something, a criminal offense, yes. Unless you have some form of injunction with you or on you or about you, yes, they can arrest you. But a police officer bothering somebody with a private plate is unconstitutional, violates the state, violates your privacy, violates interstate commerce. These are all federal offenses. There is no law that gives them the permission to pull over anybody operating privately or because you have a foreign or private plate. If you speed, if you take a turn without a signal, you're still because you're still subject to the laws of the road. You're giving him provocation to be able to see what's going on with you as part of his public service and duty to service the people in the private or the public of the United States of America and anybody out there. Here's something they don't like. Normal people can also do a citizen's arrest. You can also arrest an officer if he's doing something criminal. But you for damn sure better make sure he's doing something criminal and not just say, oh, YouTube guy said I could arrest a cop. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if that person who's a police officer, any municipality, any officer, anywhere is doing something criminal or denying you of your constitutional rights and you are 1,000% sure you can prove that, then yes, you have the right. We the people. All right. So wait. Okay. So in case you guys didn't hear that last segment, because something's going on with my uh recording here, don't trip, don't contact me. I'll just recite what I just said. So the last part, I was just saying that as far as I was taught and talked to by a police officer, is that those images of being able to see the do not detain, which were blurry here, okay, and in public domain, they are not supposed to show you. So when I clicked on them, and the one was just audio only, and the other one said the video was pulled down by the users, probably because YouTube said you cannot show the full thing of that because it's considered internal. They don't, in other words, they don't want you to know about it. There it is. All right. So the other part of what I was saying is just that if you are operating privately and properly as a non-resident, you have a legal right to operate in a lawful capacity as private, which means a police officer does not have the right to pull you over. It's interfering with interstate commerce, denial of rights and privileges as a national, 8 U.S.C. 1503, okay, and other federal offenses for a police officer to just bother you because you have a private plate or it's foreign or whatever. Now, if you speed or you take a turn without using a signal because you are still subject to the laws of the road, yes, then he can bother you. But if he doesn't have RAS, which is reasonable articulate suspicion of a crime, he cannot just bother you because you're not a U.S. citizen. And even a U.S. citizen, he's not supposed to bother for minor things at all either. Okay. But U.S. citizens, more so they can because you're saying I'm a member of yours. So they have the right to do that. But a private person, no, they don't have the right to do that. A plate missing, yes, because they can try to ascertain who does this vessel belong to. But a private plate, foreign plate, European plate, plate from another state, another political division, whatever, no, they don't have that right. Unless you're doing something criminal or your description in their computer, verifiable, matches a description of somebody doing something criminal. Other than that, you have the right to use the public roadways for private use, your own personal use as a private citizen when done properly. So be very wary of other people's videos out there, because you're not going to find a more thorough video on this here. There's a reason why they watch my videos, because they want to know. They don't know. Do you think that the FBI, the police, the Department of State, and all the rest of them who watch my videos, do you think that their legal department just comes up and says, "Hey, this guy is right"? No. They watch, they hear, they then take my videos and whatever else, make little clips, show it to their legal department, jot down the information. The legal department goes, "Yeah, he's actually right." And they go, "Oh." And then they then go back and then put out little memos if they're doing their job, and then inform law enforcement or their divisions. Yes, when done properly, they're operating constitutionally and they are operating correct. Nothing they can do. But you best believe that they're going to try to slow it down as much as possible. And I understand that because there are some people who do take this information, just like everything else out there, way before I even made my information or took somebody else's information, who have been doing bad things in the public since day one. So I'm not going to be penalized for my right as a non-belligerent, non-combatant who knows how to travel properly. I'm not going to have my rights besmirched or taken away or downplayed or be negated because of a handful of other people, which is why people you have to operate properly in the private and show them you're a non-belligerent, non-combatant. There's a reason why they have those things set up is to penalize people who cannot operate privately and properly. It's just that simple. All right, so let's get back. Yeah, so once again, if the audio did cut out a little while ago, do not message me. I get it. When I hit something or something jazzy happened, it did that. So I'm good. Do not email me. Don't tell me, Wolf, in the middle of your videos. I'm pretty sure that's probably what happened. So let's get back to it.
American state nationals, the newest group of
All right, all right. See, once again, it's acting hokey for some reason. All right, so we already debunked this. Now, okay, so the other part of it is the passport holder now has a concealed weapons permit. Actually, from what I was told, it does say unlimited gun rights. So, but they wouldn't know that because they can't see this. And I was given this on good authority. Okay. So, but here's something bigger than that. Constitution says we have the right to bear arms. So there is such a thing as constitutional carry. Now, don't go telling people, "Oh, the Badwolf." Do your own research. You're operating in different levels of this in the same area. Need a license? don't need a license. These are both operating, private, public. But if you're going to operate on the de jure ground under the Constitution, you better have your paperwork and your everything correct because they will challenge you on it because they have the ability and they should because unfortunately there are some people out there who do bad things and they're just trying to figure out where the line is, and that's why I'm making these videos so that they can understand where the line is. So let's get back to it.
Followers also believe that possessing this special U.S. passport grants them diplomatic immunity, an entirely baseless notion.
Well, now what's funny is she's not proving any of that. She's making a claim. This is a statement. The passport, we already know, is a form of diplomatic immunity. It's a form. It does not say full or 100%. You're just operating in a different jurisdiction. And if you're operating in a different jurisdiction as a state citizen, you are not generally subject to state level things, but that doesn't mean that you can just go ahead and do whatever you want to do. Okay. So this is just a claim. She's not backing this up at all. So let's ask Chat GPT. Okay. Let's take a look. Okay. So if a state citizen gets a passport as a non-citizen national, which is the same thing legally, which connects to the 18 U.S.C. 112 code under IPP. Does this in fact mean the passport is a form of diplomatic immunity granted by the Department of State? Question mark. So they're saying here it does not confer diplomatic status or immunity. It merely confirms national allegiance without citizenship. Okay. Okay. 18 U.S.C. 112, protection of internationally protected persons. This law protects foreign diplomats, foreign heads of state, U.S. diplomatic personnel overseas. Okay, so direct answer. So it says here, so it's going to say no, right? No. It says no. Obtaining a passport does not grant that. Okay. All right. So it says no. That's its official answer. Okay. But then why does the definition of a foreign official in that code specific refer to nationals of the United States being included. Oh, non, excellent and sharp. Let's take a close look at your question and unpack it legally and precisely. It says, so why are nationals of the United States included? Because diplomatic protection is reciprocal under international law. So just as the U.S. protects foreign diplomats on U.S. soil, it must also protect its own nationals who serve in diplomatic roles abroad. It's not exact. It does not say that a national has to be in a diplomatic role. It's not what it says. And legally, nationals, when dealing with the maritime jurisdiction, are separate things legally. So even here in the United States, we are considered internationally protected persons. It doesn't understand that aspect of it, but that's fine. Okay. So, how should we do this? You know what? We'll just do it this way. Okay. So get rid of this. Cornell Law EDU 18112. Oh, it threw me off. There we go. Okay. So outwardly, nowhere in here does it openly say national. Once again, they hide it. So let's go into foreign official. Boom, national of the United States. So let's read what it actually says. For the purpose of this section, foreign government, foreign official, internationally protected person, international organization, national of the United States, and official guests shall have the same meanings as those provided in section 1116B of this title. Doesn't say all the rest of that jazz. That's what it says. It says the same thing under internationally protected person. Because when you're in your private capacity, official guest, you are in fact foreign to those other agencies. That's what it is. Prove my point. So once again, it's not conferring it, but you have a type of. Okay. So we just proved that wrong. So let's keep going.
American state national.
Here we go again. Okay, let me read through this. Yeah, so unfortunately, in this shooting, this particular person did not have all of their stuff done properly and then decided to operate as a belligerent combatant, unfortunately. Okay, and legally did not have things done properly. He also had an ASN plate, which drew their attention because they're taught to look for ASN. You operating privately correctly from your trust or your nation properly, not somebody else's entity, which has been linked to certain other things, but your family, your last name, your family crest is your nation. You have the right to operate underneath that. Okay. He also refused to exit the vehicle. This was a problem. You cannot do that. I mean, let me say this correctly. If they're telling you, asking you to do that, though you have ground. See, first of all, you won't even have to worry about this if everything's done right in their computer systems. But if they're asking you to get out of the vehicle, get out of the vehicle. Just do it. Even if you've done everything right, just do it. Survive the situation, sue them later on if you've done everything right. If you haven't, then pay your ticket because you didn't do it right. But I do not want to see anybody in any type of situation trying to stand your ground against an organization that has a license to shoot first and ask questions later. Get out of the car. But I'll say this, there should, I didn't watch the whole thing, but there should be no reason for this to have occurred because somebody refused to get out. But it says here he appeared. Like I said, I'd have to sit down and go through every single thing. We don't know if he really what when if you are doing everything right, you watch my videos, I tell you, do not do anything like this. Matter of fact, you should have everything done right in a travel binder. And the moment the cherries and berries come on, you pull that travel binder out, put it on your dashboard so they can see it. Because dead men tell no tales. And I don't know if they continued to go through everything to see if he had an arm or not. If he did not, then his family can sue. But like I said, I don't know. But see here, then they go on to talk about trying to re-educate them on the side of the road. No, you're not going to do that. Some of them are cool, some of them are not, and some of them are evil. But you're not going to. So the problems here is that if you're trying to think you're going to re-educate them on the side of the road, it's not going to happen. Pointing out the ASN on your plates and that those are all bad signs. Now there are proper ways here. They're talking about rescinding the ticket. There are proper ways to do that. Okay, and if you do things the correct way, yes, you can go after them for 241 deprivation of rights, 242 operating under color of law. So here they have their download your our exclusive police resources. Okay, they talk about the personal, actually it's private conveyance, but okay. Because that still means person, so this is an oxymoron. Driving has a legal commercial definition versus traveling. Okay. But they're confusing things. But I'm not even saying so much these people are confusing it as they might be taught some of these things improperly from some of these networks out there. And see, look, now they're saying in more extreme cases, most of these people I'm sure are probably not threats, but there are some who are. And then it talks about people being dragged by their vehicles, biting fingers, and then officers doing this. Now, unless that person has a arm, they should be trained not. This should be a last resort. But you never want to make a reference to an arm or act like you're reaching for one because this will get you, KIA. All right. It says adjustments in laws or policies might also be needed to address the issues of excessively prolonged traffic. So you have a right to question and contact. So now I know that they definitely watch my videos because they're saying, "Oh, you're calling 911." Yeah, because if the officer who is not the law, he is a officer of it. He enforces the law, but he cannot make legal determinations. And we've already seen this in court where we've sued and won. If the officer is not going to have a commanding officer, like what happened to me when they didn't want to look at my paperwork, which was current, and then when I did this, I talked to their commanding officer, and the commanding officer agreed, yes, if your vehicle's in a trust, she goes, but it's not showing in the computer. I said, I know, I just did it a couple of days ago, which was the truth. Then she made them go away. The officers are supposed to get their commanding officer if they do not overstand. But see, here's the thing, on behalf of the officers, and also sheriffs are elected officials to the Constitution. So they're supposed to protect you. So now I know they watched my videos. That's where they got some of these little excerpts and they twisted things. But yeah, no officer wants to be on the side of the road for an hour or 2 hours. But see, here's the problem. You have a right if you are operating correctly. So that's what they're doing. They're doing a law word salad or confusing mix of legal jargon because they don't understand jurisdiction. But that's okay because if you have everything done correctly in the system, you don't have to worry about going back and forth with them. And if they overstep the law, you get out of the car and you sue them later on, but survive the encounter. Executive branch means they do things. Judicial means judge. Okay? But police officers, are not both. That's a violation of the Separation of Powers Act. You cannot be judge, jury, and executioner. And that's what happens on the side of these roads. They're the judge of it. Executioner, you're not both. Most of the police officers go tell it to the judge. And that's fine. That's what you're supposed to do. Okay. And then they end it there. So once again, about the author. She is a full professor of social work. And finally they go here, criminology. So that's about crimes. But she did so it's her current research efforts focus on extremist groups and individuals, including sovereign citizens, and QAnon. Okay, so she's a study of the thought. So in a way, she's right because there are people out there who operate this way, though this is not the correct term, but this is what the police use, so we'll just roll with it. But she doesn't have the full information. So she is more than welcome to reach out to me or watch my videos, and we can go through this step by step. But yes, she's right in a way that there are people out there with a bad psychological and criminal intent to do things. And unfortunately, those people then take works like I have produced and do horrible things with it. That is why we must stay in honor, follow the rules, follow the law, and do everything the correct way. But we have the right to operate per the Constitution. So to Christine, your challenge is to go and pull court cases on people who have won right to travel versus the people who've lost trying to do right to travel and doing it the wrong way or have some kind of criminal or illegal intent or motive behind it. Ask the municipalities why they had to choke up 500,000, 1.4, 404,000 off the top of my head. Because if you do it the correct way, you are not one of those things. But she is, so I'm not saying she's wrong, not 100%. I'm just trying to make sure that we understand that there's a clear line on the road between people with illegal criminal intent and people who are private citizens and want to be left alone. Just like there's legitimate business owners out there who run multi-millionaire, billion-dollar operations, and then there's ones who are Enron or Encom or, doing things the wrong way. She's a doctor. There aren't any doctors out there who've done horrible things to people, criminal, illegal. Yeah, there's bad people everywhere. but they specifically don't like when we use the Constitution to claim our rights. See, the illegal doctors, criminal corporations, that just makes them more money. That's not a threat or a change to the system. Using everybody going back to being private as a constitutional person, a national state citizen like the wealthy people do, operating in private trusts, that means money out of their pockets. And they're using everybody as pawns. And here's the thing, Dr. Christine, as well. You are kept from saying certain things, just like during the CVD 19, just like, and I know you're not a medical, but you get where I'm going with it. When you carry the title of doctor, you as well as I know, just like a lawyer or whoever else, there's certain things you can and cannot say, otherwise you get that talk. I've been in the dirt a long time learning all this. And I'll tell you this, there are a lot of officers, there's a lot of FBI agents, a lot of whatever else who know that I'm telling the truth. They've talked to me. The evidence is right there. So even if certain states, municipalities, whatever else try to hide your constitutional rights, read the Constitution. So before coming to me, any of these naysayers and whatever else, which you have the right, do whatever you want to do. I don't understand why, if you don't believe in this information, why not just go and do whatever you want to do? So you're an advocate for people who want to live privately, don't want to hurt anybody, want to be private citizens, and support everything in the Constitution. When I especially know exactly what this is and what power it is. So, but do you? All those people who make the little videos about me and take little clips. This guy, very dangerous. Have you read the Constitution thoroughly? Have you read the Bill of Rights? Have you read the Declaration of Independence thoroughly? If you have, then you should know where your power and rights and liberties really are. If not, then you're literally just a traitor to the United States of America. And then you guys are actually the most dangerous people because you believe something that you don't even understand. But at the end of this, as long as you're not hurting anybody and you're safe and you're a non-belligerent non-combatant and you're not impeding or infringing on my rights, do not tread on me, then live your life and enjoy yourselves because you have a right to your opinion. But the law is pretty clear. What? You want me to show the last little bits to put the final nail in the coffin? Okay, we can do that. I was going to wrap it up. We can do that. Let's go back there for a moment. Let's just see what we got here. Downloads. See, they got to teach them how to transition from being aggressive into normal home life. Okay. But let's tidy this up. So we showed all the good stuff, right? Let's hit GPO style manuals. What the government has to say on nationals. I'm really disappointed my videos did not pop up in here. That hurts. That hurts. That hurts. Okay. All right. So this is page 109, but I want to show it to you guys. I don't think I pulled anything, crazy. Style manual, 2016, still relevant. America, you don't see that word on too many things unless it's actually American. When's the last time you ever seen the word America on your police car or in your courthouse or on almost any of your documents? Probably because you're not operating directly in America, but you're operating in an American condoned entity. Okay. So now we're going to drop down to page 109. Now let's see that we're actually in this book. I've done a lot of reading in here. It's really rather boring, but interesting. So, geographic names, nationalities. I'm pretty sure we all know what that means, right? Okay, awesome. So it says here, so here FBI, here CIA, here DOD, here Cornell Law, here municipality, here chief of police, here board members. Because I know you guys watch my videos too. Even you guys watching this, unless you're in official public capacity as a U.S. citizen, but you in your private capacity when you're at home, the moment your leather loafers hit the pavement outside of your building, you're back to being a national. How do we know that? Let's look at it. In designating the natives of the states, the following forms will be used. So if you're born in Mississippi, you're a Mississippian. All of you have heard this. Mr. Police Officer, you're in California, you're born there, you're a Californian. If I just showed you guys, dang it. If I just showed all of you guys in law enforcement this page, and I said, what state were you born in? You're like, oh, Florida. So you're Floridian, right? He would say, yeah, absolutely. I would say, okay, do you know what that means? Well, yeah, I was born in Florida. Okay, but does it have any standing in law? Meaning, can you find it anywhere in anything that's lawful? Well, I don't know what that means. It's just Florida. Well, it says here, it designates you as a native of the states. Natives mean what? Native American, right? So you're a Native American, no matter what color you are. Your tribe essentially is called Californians, but it's under nationalities. Nationalities is plural for the word national, it means multiple nationals or nationalities. So you are, in fact, a national, a Californian, a Delawarean, a Floridian, a Wisconsinite, a Kansan are all nationals. But Wolf, if that's the case, then what about me being a U.S. citizen? Those are two separate things, right? Or no, they're the same thing, right? I don't understand. It's confusing. Well, it's okay. I got you. Was it 8 FAM 301.1? So let's go back to the Foreign Affairs Manual, which is by the Department of State, federally recognized entity, because they are one. Okay. Wait a minute. It's not the exact page. That's a good one, but it's not the one I'm looking for. Here, we got a 300. Hold on, that's an organization. All right, here, let's do it this way. Oh, I didn't put it. I put 301. They put 0.110. Clever. Clever. I didn't type that in. Let's go to 300. Boy, they are not just giving me the page I'm looking for. Okay, here, finally. Lord Christmas Christ. Under 8 FAM, U.S. citizenship and nationality. Now, we already looked at Cornell Law, Federal Code 8 U.S.C. 1101 A 22 A and B. So we know U.S. citizenship and nationality are two separate things, but you have both, right? So here it tells you U.S. citizenship can be acquired either at birth or through naturalization, right? Okay. Let's drop down to B. National versus citizen. I'm gonna have it read.
B. National versus citizen. While most people and countries use the terms citizenship and nationality interchangeably, U.S. law differentiates between the two.
Did you hear that? Now, you know what? I guess I really made the mistake. Hold on, let's back up. I guess I made the slight mistake thinking that, these agencies out here don't have access to the same information I do. And then I guess I made the mistake to think that some of those agencies want to properly educate the people. Well, I think we can be rest assured that some of them do not. And some of them have never come across it. Some of them do, but don't have the power. Some of them do, but there hasn't been an outcry from the people who have the power, we the people, to do anything about it. Huzzah. Get back. So let's read that one more time, because this is not me saying it. This is federal law. This is Department of State.
B. National versus citizen. While most people and countries use the terms citizenship and nationality interchangeably, U.S. law differentiates between the two.
This is one of the most powerful lines you can ever find, period. Let's keep going.
2. Under current law, all U.S. citizens are also U.S. nationals.
So that means if you're a U.S. citizen, regardless, as I've been saying since day one, if you are a U.S. citizen, you're also a national. Period. End of discussion. You have both, but you can choose to use either one.
Nationals, but not all U.S. nationals are U.S. citizens.
What does that mean? That means you can choose. And that also means that not all nationals actually have the ability to be a U.S. citizen. This is multifaceted. It's saying you can choose, but also there are some people out there who are just nationals, like certain types of nationals, like the ones from Samoa and Guam. They are a different type. They don't get citizenship. They are just a type of U.S. national. They're in a family, but they don't get citizenship. We are born here, just like it says here, we get both. But certain types of nationals do not get both, but we can choose.
Citizens. The term national of the United States, as defined by statute, INA 101, A, 22, 8 U.S.C. 1101, A, 22.
Hot damn, give me my spam. Because they had this code wrong. So somebody at the Department of State was watching my videos and they corrected it. So thank you. For the love of God, my faith is restored to some degree back in the United States of America. God bless whoever you are, the legal department. God bless America. Because they used the correct code. Guys, remember your therapy. Go to your happy place. Water, oceans, naked women as far as you can see. I'm good. So dramatic. All right, let's get back over there. Hey, you got to make it fun sometimes, right? Or at least a little funny, a little jazzy. So here it says, as defined by statute INA 101A 22 and 8 U.S.C. 1101A 22. That's the correct code.
22 includes all citizens of the United States.
So all citizens are considered nationals. But if you go down here where it talks about Guam and Panama, these are a different type. These types down here are referred to as U.S. non-citizen nationals. So they themselves fall under the term of U.S. nationals, but you have to pay attention to the words. They're called U.S., so the word U.S. comes first, non-citizen nationals. Okay? Whereas up here, we're either referred to as U.S. nationals or non-citizen U.S. nationals. Do you see the wordplay? So sorry, Christine, you ain't got it right. After maybe 30 or 40 years like me of overstanding the law and working with legal departments and being asked to be a friend of the court or join the court system by a judge in front of everybody, not even in private chambers, I kind of think I know what I'm talking about. You don't beat the courts by being a schmuck. My IQ is over 161. I get things right for a reason. See, look, right here, to prove me right even more. America, Samoa, and Swain Islands are U.S. See, the word U.S. now comes first. This is a term all in one. You have to pay attention to the words, capitalizations, everything, periods, dashes, spaces, all actually mean something unique. You are not smart enough in this regard. No offense. The term is U.S. non-citizen nationals. Let's compare this term. Where did it go? To U.S. nationals. Two separate things. These people fall underneath this term because they only get nationality. They do not get citizenship. We get both, but this specific type, they don't. They are a sub branch and they don't get citizenship, only nationality. So when you look at the passport, when they say non-citizen U.S., then the word national, those are different things. You can't clump them all together because they kind of sorterly. I remember when I had fat crayons and sticky tape in kindergarten, it's kind of the same. They're not. Which word comes first, second, and third, and all used together in one term, depending on the capitalizations, the periods, the dashes, the codes referencing it, all mean something unique. There's a reason why they're identically, let me say this, they're not identically the same word in grammar and topography and all that. They mean something different if you're smart enough to understand the information. On the passport application, I showed you guys before, it said, I declare under penalty of perjury that I'm either a U.S. citizen or a non-citizen U.S. national. That is different than a U.S. non-citizen national. Those are two separate things. But this term falls underneath the passport term U.S. national, so that these very few people who don't get citizenship can apply like we do and get it as a national. Because these people are not subject to U.S. citizen rules, regulations, and terms. That doesn't mean they're above the law. Doesn't mean we as U.S. nationals are above the law. It means that you are a different class and that citizenship and nationality are not the same thing. So put that in your pipe and smoke it. Don't believe me? Before contacting me about how you feel, talk to your legal department. If you haven't talked to your legal department at your municipality privately, because they will do that, if you feel so moved about it, go and talk to them. Send them an email, ask them, send them my video. Hell, I don't care. If you haven't sent it to the legal department and you can't understand what I just shared and the places where I showed you where it is, read the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, and the Bill of Rights before contacting me. Otherwise, I will just ignore you because I've already had it confirmed by other legal departments and the Department of State who have watched me to update and correct their information and Cornell law. And I've won in court time after time after time after time. Don't get me wrong, there are some bullies out there who push back and then they give up. They just go, well, whatever, we're just going to do it our way. And then that's fine. That's when then you sue them in federal court and you win, which has been 95% of every person who's gone through me. So that's it, good people. Once again, I'm very passionate about this. I know what I'm talking about. If I didn't, why do I keep winning? Why do the people I teach how to do this keep winning? And why do the people who do it wrong keep losing? And why do the people who are against, and we're not against, those people who are against the system, who don't want to learn how to do commerce properly, whether publicly or privately, like we do, why do they have problems? Because they're not doing it right. They don't know how to do commerce. They don't know how to do business. They don't know how to go from public to the private. They don't understand jurisdiction. Just like with Black Law's dictionary. That's not an American dictionary, but it's recognized in that it is itself in the American family. Webster's is an American dictionary. The courts use Black laws, which then means that the lower courts, for those people smart enough to understand the word nisi prius, are then not American courts, but they're in the American family. They're doing their own thing. If I am an honorary Johnson, I don't have Johnson blood in me, but I can attend the Johnson events, hang out with the Johnson family, eat the Johnson macaroni and cheese. But I'm still a Lovett at the end of the day. So where do my allegiance really align? I can make money with the Johnsons. I can fight people with the Johnsons. And that's what the courts are. That's what the police are. That's what the state ofs are. But they all took an oath to protect the public, which are anybody out there, including their members, and to uphold the Constitution. And so I hold you all to your oath of office. I mean, you did sign the sheet, correct? Because if you didn't, then you're in office illegally. And if you're not upholding the Constitution as any member of law enforcement or doing anything subvert to any of the nationals or people out there who are operating properly and correctly, lawfully, and legally, then you are in fact a traitor to the United States of America. And to the rest of the system that is doing a good job, I hope that you guys do find all of the threats in our country, foreign or domestic.